Welcome to Heal into Happy. I invite you to take an adventure with me into your very own universe as I guide you to go within, release your fears, and become empowered to create a life you love. I am your host, Lark Allen. My intention is to help you shine a light on everything that is keeping you from being truly free. You can expect this healing journey to be filled with love, laughter, clarity, and fun. Are you ready to take a leap of faith? Let's go. My healing journey. Wow. It has been a very long journey indeed. I had an art therapist when I was very young, when I finally had the courage to let my mom know, such a scary conversation to have, that I was being molested. The first thing that she did was get me into art therapy, and it was such a healing journey to be able to be with other children. It was group therapy that had had similar experiences to me. Some of their experiences were beyond belief. I almost needed therapy for the therapy I was having when they started sharing their stories. But to learn the importance of healing through art and healing through sharing was so important for me. So as I have gone through my healing journey, there's been lots of ups and downs, lots of peaks and valleys. And the part that I wish that I would have known from the beginning is that when we hold ourselves with compassion and love, and we have that strong foundation, so much of our healing just happens naturally. And I didn't know that. And so that is the most important thing that I feel like I will be able to share with all of you, to plant this seed of awareness that when we find deep love for ourselves, truly have compassion, truly have understanding, and it's as if we can scoop ourselves up as a little child and be that parent that we wish we would have had, and just have complete understanding and become a good listener to the child within. But to even get to that point, we must have compassion for who we are in this very moment in time. So that is what I want to talk to you about. And this whole episode is going to be about love. Where are you on the spectrum? This is a time for you to be able to get really clear with yourself, be very honest. So let's define love and look at different variances from deep love and compassion for ourselves to something as harmful as body dysmorphia, which is another thing that I've recovered from. And as I'm talking, if you want to journal or journal later about where you feel like you are on the spectrum of loving yourself, it's a really important first step to really understand about yourself. And then I am going to give you ideas of ways that you can bump up that love meter for yourself. It is so important. And as I said before, when we start really loving ourselves and giving ourselves the compassion that we deserve, we can move mountains. So much is healed just from that love. And then we can go deeper into the things that need a little bit more understanding and releasing and integrating. So when you look at the definition of love in the Webster Dictionary, it says, a strong affection for another rising out of kinship or personal ties. So I feel like that's leaving a lot out, because if we can't love ourselves the way that we want someone else to love us, then the love that we are seeking from others isn't going to be the nourishment that we need. So to me, when we really understand what we need for ourselves, and nobody can understand that more than ourselves, because another huge aha moment that I would love to share with all of you, which is so interesting that I didn't even understand completely. So I'm curious to hear. Please leave me a comment after you listen to this. Who is going to be your best friend? for the longest part of your life. I'll let you in on a secret. It's you. We are with ourselves from birth until death. It's the only 100% guarantee of the person that is going to be with us. And we aren't taught to nurture and love that relationship and to really understand our own needs and desires. So much of what we are taught is to go outside of ourselves to find all of the things that we desire. And that is absolutely backwards. In my opinion, it's some psychological warfare and some mental abuse that, we start our life out with. We seek the love and affection of our parents and our friends, and we don't tune into ourselves a lot of the time to see how we're doing, what we need, and how we can provide what we're desiring to ourselves. So the other end of the spectrum is body dysmorphia. This is defined as a mental disorder characterized by the obsessive idea that some aspect of our own body is so severely flawed that it needs some kind of drastic intervention. And one of my best friends let me know, I don't know, probably around 8 years ago, I don't know, maybe longer. I was on some rampage to her talking about some flaw that I felt like I had. And she said, Lark, I really think that you have body dysmorphia. And that was a beautiful mirror that she held up for me that really shifted so much in my life. And I realized how critical I was of myself, how demeaning, how mentally abusive. So I'm coming to you from a place of recovering from that kind of abuse that I gave to myself, to say all of these horrible things about myself to my best friend. Imagine what I was saying in front of a mirror. Imagine what I was saying when I went shopping for myself and I was buying myself an outfit, or God forbid, trying on a bathing suit. And this is what happens with so many of us. We are so mentally abusive to ourselves, and then we wonder, why am I in this abusive relationship? Why do I attract these people into my life that aren't nice to me? Well, what happens in our inner world shows up in our outer world. And so if you're at that point where you're really judgy with yourself, when you wash your hands and you look up at yourself in the mirror and you're like, oh my God, look at that pimple. Oh my goodness, my hair's frizzy today. All of the little things that can go on, because trust me, I've been there. Really start having some self-reflection about that and let this moment in time be a seed of awareness for you that there's some inner work that really needs to happen. And it's very simple to do, but it takes a lot of compassion and it takes a lot of surrendering to the moment and saying, yeah, I've had those feelings. Yeah, I've done that. I actually could be in an abusive relationship with myself. That awareness is going to be huge for your shift in perception. So I feel like at this point, I want to read something to you that has come into my life this year that has changed everything for me and has really deepened my practice of self-love. It is from the Sophia Code, and it's on page 249. Kuan Yin teaches the path of Karuna compassion. I offer my story to reveal that all stories of compassion are the same story in the journey back home to the heart. Water directly taught me about the meaning of Karuna compassion. When I prayed into the water and ingested it, the water would flow to every darkness that my awareness was too afraid to touch. Out of the shame or guilt, it was the water that carried my prayer everywhere I needed to reconcile the wounding within me. The water was not afraid to go where I needed it to go for my healing. Therefore, the medicine of water is an excellent teaching vehicle for revealing the power of Karuna compassion. For there is nothing that we have suffered that we cannot heal within ourselves, and Karuna is the medicine of unconditional passion that is the power to heal us from every suffering. The greatest of all suffering occurs When we refuse to have compassion for yourself as you are experiencing any kind of suffering. The Sanskrit root for compassion is Karuna. My definition of Karuna is to be so closely held by yourself that no separation can remain within you. To refuse yourself this embrace when you are already suffering immeasurably amplifies the pain that you are already experiencing. Embodying Karuna compassion begins with learning how to love yourself first, holding all the parts of yourself throughout every present moment and in every circumstance. It requires a softening of your heart to accept that the gift of your own Karuna compassion is the standard you deserve to experience in your relationship with yourself. No one else's opinion is required to acknowledge, quantify, or qualify your authentic expression of suffering for it to be real for you. Practicing Karuna does not require anyone else's approval or participation for you to receive the compassion that you deserve. Kuan Yin's experiences, everything that she suffered, and then everything that she was able to heal from because she started having compassion for herself. To read about it and to really start having that compassion for myself has been life-changing. And you guys, I started reading the Sophia Code 6 or 7 months ago, and it's so powerful that each chapter takes time to digest and to really start to be able to integrate into my human. So I have friends that have the book that haven't even opened it yet because they know that they're not quite ready to receive the love and compassion and activations that it has within the book. I am currently on a journey to become a Sophia Circle leader so that I can create space for whoever wants to journey with me into this book and into this kind of compassion and love. The beautiful thing about all of this that I wish I would have had long, long ago is that we don't have to do all of this alone. We have, whatever name you want to call it, God, Source, Sophia God, whatever the higher power above is to you, whatever name that you call that, we aren't alone. And I have felt that so deeply this year as I've become so activated with this book. And even if you're not ready for the Sophia Code yet, the big takeaway that I pray that you get from this message is that you are worthy of your own love. You deserve to have your own love. If you can't love yourself, then it's really hard for you to accept and allow others to treat you the way that you deserve to be treated. If you aren't getting the respect out of life that you would like to get, then it's a pretty good indication that there's some inner work that needs to happen. And the biggest part of that is, again, bringing a conscious awareness to the fact that there could be some tendencies within you that is being judgmental and is being too hard on yourself. So it is not a destiny. It is a journey that we're on. And I am constantly learning new ways to love myself, to get to know myself, to explore my inner universe. I love the word universe because, how we spell it, it sounds like universe, which is like this great thing outside of us. But when you change it to universe, where it's Y-O-U, that's what I really think that word means. We have an entire universe within ourselves, and it is ready to be explored. It is praying for us to come in and take a look at what's going on. And just lighting a candle and going inside and looking around and seeing what's there is most of the journey. It's an epic journey of self-exploration. And when you go with the intention to love all the parts that you find, that is when a huge shift happens. This week, my challenge for you is to look at that sliding scale or look at that spectrum of love and be really honest with yourself. Where are you? Are you in a deep love affair with yourself where you are, waking up in the morning and loving every toe, every hair, every part of yourself, every cell, loving yourself at a cellular level? Or are you somewhere other than that? And that's totally okay. Just be honest with yourself. Where are you? Where could you do better with things? Where could you go and sit with yourself and say, I'm going to run you a bath right now. You had a really hard day. I'm going to get you your favorite drink. Maybe that's a nice chamomile tea. And I'm going to light some candles. And I'm going to put in some sea salt and some essential oils. And let's just relax. You deserve that. Start really loving yourself enough to be able to do that for yourself. This is your reminder that it's time to come home. Come home to yourself. Be that person that you've been dreaming of. And then that person that you have been dreaming of will materialize in your reality. Because once you love yourself, then your standards increase so much that then your dream person comes out to play. And remember that your wounds are the medicine that this world needs. And so maybe you're like me and you had body dysmorphia where you were so hard on yourself and then you got to go on a deep journey. And maybe this is the beginning of your deep journey. And I'm praying that the prayer that's praying you ends up helping you decide to fall for yourself and then pay that love forward. Because we are all an amazing part of the puzzle of this game that we call life. And once we figure a part out and then we pay that knowledge forward, that's how we create unity consciousness on this beautiful planet of ours. So I look forward to reading the comments of where you feel like you are in the spectrum. And as you start understanding that, we are going to go deeper into different ways for you to continue to fall deeper and deeper and deeper in love with yourself. Until next week, I'm offering you so much love and so much light. Thank you for joining me today on Heal into Happy. My prayer is that you have gained more insight into your healing journey and that you are one step closer to loving yourself more fully in this now moment. And if you could do me a favor, please leave me a 5-star review over on iTunes. My passion is empowering others on their healing journey, and with your review, you may help others struggling to heal find this message. Be sure to visit me at healintohappy.com for past episodes and more ways to connect with me. Also, please always remember that I am offering you so much love and light as I celebrate the divine sovereign being that I see in you.